Hey guys, welcome back to Oregon Bass Fishing. Today I want to talk to you about how to fish a chatterbait or a bladed jig or vibrating jig. There's lots of different names, but basically it's just a jig head with a skirt on it, and then it's got this little blade on the front here with a duo snap. So you're going to tie your line to that duo snap right there. So the first thing I want to show you is how I rigged this up. A lot of people like to throw swim baits on them. That's usually what I do. My favorite one so far has been this KVD 5-inch swim and shiner. This one's a green pumpkin pearl belly. And what I do is I cut this off right at that gill plate right there. So I'll show you. Just cut that right off at the gill plate. That does a couple things for me. One, it gives me a nice flat section of the bait here, and what that's going to do is actually flare that skirt out a little bit more when it's swimming through the water. And secondly, I like the shape of this profile here. It actually looks like a bait fish instead of something that's real, too long. So you just run that up on the hook. Like that. So that's what it looks like when it's all rigged up there. And so basically when this is going through the water, that front blade is vibrating, and that you can even see it when I'm just doing it right here. The back tail is kicking back and forth, and so this gives it a really nice moving profile. It's got several different motions, secondary action going on with the skirts. It's a pretty good little bait fish imitation. As far as the weights, I usually try to go heavier if I can help it. I like to throw like the 1/2 ounce ones, or 5/8, but they don't have to be heavy. If you have less space between the top of the water and the top of the weeds, if you're fishing weedy areas, you want to go with something lighter so you can fish it slower but still keep it above that. So as far as where I'm going to be fishing this, you can fish it around any cover that you want. It doesn't come through wood very well. It's got a pretty big exposed hook there, and if it rolls over, it gets caught pretty easy on wood. So you can fish it around wood, just don't try to fish it through wood. But I think it really shines, in open water, over grass lines, or submerged grass. Is a good place to throw it. And this is probably my #1 go-to search bait. It's gonna find fairly active fish. I can fish it pretty quickly, and the fish can hear it and see it from a long ways away. And so I can run around with this, get a bite, and start building a pattern on that. So I'm gonna be fishing this on like a 7-foot to 7.6 medium to medium heavy fast action rod. You just want something with enough backbone that you can get it out there a long distance. I like to really cast this thing a long ways and fish a lot of water at a time with it. Like I said, I'm using it as a search bait. There are a lot of different retrieves that I'm going to use with a chatterbait. For the most part, it's just going to be a slow retrieve, just making sure it's ticking on the tops of the grass if I'm fishing over grass. Occasionally, if I'm not getting any bites on it, I'll do some twitches as I'm reeling it in. It kind of gives it a kind of an erratic retrieve, and that seems to get bites. And then every once in a while, once I go to start bringing it in and I start burning it, that's when I'll get the bite, and I'll realize that I need to kind of do a slow and fast retrieve with burning it and rolling it slow. So just experiment. You can, like I said, you can fish this pretty much anywhere, any way. The fish are going to tell you how they want it. So play around a little bit and see what they want that day. So when am I going to be fishing this? It's definitely a bait that I've got tied on in the spring. I seem to catch some pretty nice ones, in the pre-spawn time with this. As summer comes around, they're not chasing the fish as much, so that's where I'll switch to something else. But this is a pretty good imitation when they're eating really well. I haven't thrown it in the fall a whole lot, but I'm sure that it would do just as well in the fall. Also a good bait to throw at night. It's got a lot of sound to it. So yeah, that's the chatterbait. If you have any questions, comment below. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe and tell people about my channel. I sure appreciate it. And we'll see you next time.